Hi, I'm Diane Degnan. Welcome to the Digital Lounge. On day 3 of the General Conference, the mantle of leadership transitions with a ceremonial passing of the gavel from Bishop Warner Brown Jr. to Bishop Bruce Ough, the incoming president of the Council of Bishops. Today we'll take a moment to take a look back over the past 2 years and a look forward. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So Bishop Brown, as you look back over the past 2 years, what's been the best thing about being the leader of the spiritual leaders of the church?
It has been a joy to know that your colleagues are genuinely praying for you and wanting you to succeed. There's a desire for us to find our way forward as a council, and we seek sincerely to lead our church in ways that will contribute to accomplishing the mission and the church being successful. And we want it to work.
Bishop Ough, what are you most looking forward to about the job?
Well, Bishop Brown is absolutely correct. This is a wonderful group of leaders. They are deeply committed to the mission of the United Methodist Church. And the thing I'm looking most forward to is helping the council find a way to lead the whole church into a bright future of hope as we live into our mission of making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world.
Bishop Brown, when you think back over, you were in the same spot 2 years ago. Does that seem like just a little while ago? And as you think about that, what were your hopes for the future, and what comes to mind as you look back over your time as president?
My hope as I began this task was that we could build greater levels of collaboration, and that we would be willing to share the work openly rather than seeing the need to operate in silos and be a little reluctant to share. I think our ability to collaborate, our depth of trust and cooperation has grown considerably, and we are continuing to work at that.
What about you, Bishop Ough? What is your focus for your time as president?
Well, I had an opportunity a few minutes ago to share with the council some thoughts about where we need to go as we look to the future. I see us building on what Bishop Brown said. We are a community that is trying to live in a way that expresses corporate leadership for the church. So I want us to continue to build our trust among one another, to build a strong sense of covenant as we lead the church together. I'm also really convinced that the council has a significant role in helping to lay out the narrative for the church. The way I've heard it expressed to me in the last few days is that the Council of Bishops needs to take more and more responsibility for making the case for our great United Methodist connection, so that people understand all that God is doing in and through us. And so I hope they'll be able to help us find our voice in a way that articulates that narrative in ever clearer ways.
As the gavel was passed today, you made reference to preparing yourself for leadership and how Bishop Brown had helped you with that. How do you prepare yourself for a role like this?
You know, the first thing you need to do is to realize it's not about you. And so the first step in preparation is to constantly pray that I can be a servant of the council, that this is not about what I want as much as trying to listen deeply and help the council listen deeply to where God is leading us. And then you rely on your colleagues. We lead together. There is no one leader of the council in many respects. I mean, there are designated roles, and I'm privileged now to follow in the footsteps of Bishop Brown to be the president, but it's really a corporate leadership model. And so part of the preparation is gathering those people around, making sure that we all understand what we need to be doing to lead the church as a leadership team.
So I'm sure you've given Bishop Ough some advice. What words did you have for him?
Stay prayed up and trust your instincts, and to be authentically yourself, and know that colleagues will appreciate and will come along and hold you up.
That's really true. That has been the advice that he's given me, and I've had numerous colleagues, and I'm sure this was true for Bishop Brown as well, come and say to me, we are with you, we want you to succeed, because if you succeed, we all succeed.
Yes.
Well, being a bishop is already a big job, so there's an additional time commitment that comes along with being president of the council, and I know you've been chair of the connectional table, which carries a similar weight. How do you actually fit all of that in?
Well, I've been very fortunate to have exceptional leadership teams in both of the annual conferences where I have residential responsibilities, both in Dakotas Conference and Minnesota Conference. And one of the things I did early on when I moved there 4 years ago, just as I was assuming the chair of the connectional table, is to sit down with them and invite them in to, in some respects, sort of sharing the leadership of the whole church through that role. That even though they were not going to be at the meetings or up front, by picking up the mantle and making sure that things move forward smoothly in the annual conferences, they were in fact sharing in the leadership of the whole church. And I will continue to do that. I've already been in conversation, as I'm sure Bishop Brown was, with his staff to clarify what my role will be, the schedule, and to begin to parcel out things that I'm going to empower them and delegate to them to carry forward. And then, as I've already indicated, there are other staff around. We have an executive secretary, we have an ecumenical officer, we have an administrative person who helps with the church. We have a staff through the Office of Christian Unity. These are also persons that I will rely on very heavily to carry the work forward.
Bishop Brown, anything to add to that?
Well, I think we have been working over the last 4 years, really, to position the staff responsibilities, the Office of Christian Unity, our Episcopal office in Washington, to align our work to support the office. There are many ways that we could improve on that, but within the mandate and the level of support the church has provided us, we can do a good job. We depend heavily on our conference staffs and teams at home, and I'm blessed to serve a very well-aligned team that can work well, and I can operate remotely and know that things will be well attended. And so that's key to being able to lean into this job fully.
All right, last question. We've been hearing more about a campaign called We Are More Than, and you referenced that today in your remarks that you receive the gavel. So I'm going to just ask both of you to complete that sentence for me. We'll start with you, Bishop Brown. We are more than.
We are more than a traditional church that is centered on itself. We seek to be a people engaged in living our witness to Jesus Christ wherever we are, in all the places we engage the world, to speak up for justice and hope and love in the world.
Bishop Ough?
Well, I want to just take a step back and put the campaign in context. It's an initiative of the bishops in the South Central jurisdiction, and they initiated it because they want their areas and the entire church to realize that we are more than any one meeting, we are more than any one issue, we are more than any point of dissension or division that we might experience from time to time within the church, because on Sunday morning after General Conference, hundreds, thousands of United Methodist pastors around the world were climbing to the pulpits and preach the gospel. On Monday after General Conference, there will be millions of United Methodists around the world that will pick up the mantle of leadership, either as laypersons or as professional workers in the church, and carry on their work of making disciples and transforming the world. And so we are more than any one thing in the life of the church. We are this great revival movement, and that will continue.
Well, I want to congratulate you on this new role for you, and Bishop Brown, I want to thank you for all that you've done for the church in the last 2 years, and all that I know you'll continue to do. And I want to thank everyone for joining us here to hear about this important day in the life of the church, and invite you to come back to listen to more interviews. Thank you.